Good evening, my friends. Welcome back to the 2D Convo channel. I'm your host, Alexander, and my special co-host, TJ. I decided to add him to the show. I got a comment telling him, man, I love your dog. So, hey, he's my co-host now, TJ. He'll be chiming in from time to time, giving his important opinions. But that being said, man, this video is going to be again about the Matrix and breaking out of the social conditioning that we have been put under since birth. And I go into a little bit more detail into how this system plays out. I'm not going to spend too much face time on the video this time, but my next video I'm going to be more engaged with the content. That being said, I'm out. I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. You know, I really want y'all to digest this information and just get it out there. You know, use your own minds to discern. Have your own discernment when it comes to this information. Just because I put it out there doesn't necessarily mean it's true. You know, but if I put it out, I'm only going to give you the truth. I don't like liars. You know, I really don't like liars. If you lie to me, I'm sorry. If you really want to lie to me, that's on you. That's your loss. I'm gonna go about my day. But excuse me, don't mean to go out on a rant like that. But yeah, man. With that being said, man, let's get to this video, man. I hope y'all have a good one. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side.
America, the government works for you.
Listen up, kids. Everything they teach you in school is a lie. You want the truth? The world is controlled by shadowy elites and shape-shifting lizard people. Am I the only one who cares that the president is a robot?
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo.
The movie The Matrix is not science fiction. It's a documentary. Every human, and it's a fact, every human first 7 years is download hypnosis. The brain of a child under 7 is in a lower vibrational frequency. When you put wires on a person's head, you read electroencephalograph. A child below 7 has a lower vibration than consciousness. It's called theta. Theta is imagination. Theta is also hypnosis. And the idea is this: before you can become conscious, if you don't have any programs, what are you going to be conscious of? 95% of our life, is a fact, comes from those programs in the subconscious. Give me a child until it's 7 and I will show you the man.
What's television? Television. And then what do you get? You get programming. And even if you watch now, like I'm watching, like on some of the satellite stuff I watch, it says commercial break, programming will continue. Yeah. Like, you're being programmed. They're telling you you're being programmed. And it's like, when I woke up to that, I was like, it's right in front of you, on my face, and I can't see it. Like, why can't I see this? It's not that we're stupid. It's not that we're not smart. It's just that we don't have perspective. When you're trying to explain something this big and how much we've been deceived to the population, it's very hard to not sound like you're out of your mind. Because when you start bringing up these things, it's very easily twisted.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television.
Now here's what I really think about all of this stuff. The truth is that life has one small but vital element. Eventually, children grow up. They get a bit bigger, a bit freer, a bit more educated than their fathers, understand? They're no longer willing to stand in endless lines, run get you another beer, or carry away your garbage.
The children want something more than that.
But Daddy replies that he's not interested in hearing the opinion of a spoiled little freedom-loving snot. Oh no! He wants you to be an A sheep, A facing the crowd, and not the individual you are.
My dad said schools are basically prisons. They keep kids locked up physically and mentally, prepare them for jobs that are also basically prisons until they retire and go to a nursing home. Their final prison.
School is not a prison.
Can I leave whenever I want to?
It's a little like a prison.
There was a test that was done in the 70s, this is the human condition, in which they'd line 10 people up in a row and they'd ask them a question. I'm making up the conditions, but principally you'll get it. They'd ask 10 people in a row, and the question in the beginning is, what's 2 plus 2? And the first guy goes, it's 4, and they go, no, it's 5. Next guy, what's 2 plus 2? 4. No, it's 5. Next guy, 2 plus 2 equals what? 5? Yes. Next guy, what's 2 plus 2 equal? 5. Good job. And by the end, the last guys are just saying 5. Even though they can do the fucking math for themselves and they know they're right. Why? Because they just watched socially a whole bunch of people comply. That's the human fucking condition, which is why humans are pretty fucking easy to manipulate.
The 3 people on the left are actors. They've been briefed to stand or sit when they hear this. Everyone else that's brought in is a genuine shortlisted applicant. They've been given no instructions other than to fill out their forms. My team and I were secretly watching from another room. The more socially compliant a person is, the more they're likely to look to others for signs of how to behave.
This is going to be your spot.
And the more people, the greater the pressure to join in. In this case, whether to stand or sit. Those people that didn't follow the crowd were removed.
I think we have to lose Amy, sadly.
Amy, come with me.
Once we had a full house, we got rid of the actors, leaving us with a room full of compliant people standing up and sitting down, even though nobody told them to do this.
The best way to gain control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species
is another technique that I call the totalitarian tiptoe. It's another perceptual mind manipulation technique. And that works like this. You are at A, and you know that your agenda is going to take the world to Z. But you know if you go from A to Z in too big a leap, the changes in society are going to be so fundamental that many people are going to look up from the game show and the sport and they're going to say, what's going on? Ethel, what's going on here? Look what they're doing. So you don't go in big leaps. You use the totalitarian tiptoe. You go as fast as you can, but not so fast that people start to see the pattern and realize that it's all connected. So you'll go from A to B, and maybe go to D if you can get away with it, and so on. But all the time, you're moving towards this Z goal, which is total human control. And I have this phrase that I use: know the outcome, and you'll see the journey. This is why it's crucial to uncover what the agenda's outcomes are planned to be. Because once you know that, you can see the stepping stones, the totalitarian tiptoe to those outcomes. If you don't know what the outcomes are planned to be, then all these events just appear random. Oh, something else has happened. Oh, that's happened. Oh, now that's happened. But there's no connection apparently between the two. But if you know what the outcome is planned to be, know the outcome, and you'll see the journey, because you'll see that these events, through problem, reaction, solution, not least, are using the excuses to push us on to those outcomes.
New details are coming out in a trove of declassified documents that the agency has kept secret for years.
My name is Kathy O'Brien, and I'm a survivor of MK-Ultra mind control.
I developed a compartment in my brain, a little area behind amnesic barriers that was actually the neuron pathway shutting down in my brain in order to compartmentalize the memory of abuse so that the rest of my mind could function normally as though nothing had happened.
Everything she's telling you in the world is true, but 90% of what really happened, she doesn't even know about. She doesn't remember.
They knew that that kind of compartmentalized brain response would be an ideal place to hide government secrets.
Project Monarch utilized a combination of psychology, cognitive neuroscience, trauma, and occult rituals to create within the victims one or more altered personas that could be then triggered and programmed by the handlers.
Roman is a crazy boy who lives in me.
The amnesic barrier is then rebuilt to hide the identity of the abuser and memory of the programming, using trauma conducted through repetitive brutality, electric shock, and weaponized sound waves known as harmonics.
US 6506148B2. What is it? Short answer, it's a patent held by the US government pertaining to mind control. Long answer, it's an electromagnetic manipulation technique classified as magnetotherapy, designed to elicit physiological effects in human recipients through pulsating frequencies that are distributed by television screens and computer monitors. Basically, it's a patent for mind control through a screen. After seeing the topic surface on social media, reading the documents, delving into similar research, and tracking down decades-old internet archives, I wanted to tell the story of US 6506148B2 because it's interesting. To really begin, we need some context. In the aftermath of World War II, American and British intelligence agencies cooperated while competing, in a sense, to explore what was now defeated German territory, looking for weapons, scientific research, military technology, pharmaceutical products, and more. Operation Paperclip, as it's now known, was a very real, very secret at the time endeavor, resulting in measurable scientific growth and gain for America. Example, German technology and recovered research out of literal death camps post. World War II resulted in the product we now know as Bayer aspirin. This is a commonly accepted historical fact, but it goes deeper. In the following years, American clandestine intelligence, mainly the CIA, became obsessed with compelled truth and mind control. Commonly referenced now as one of the most glaringly obvious U.S. domestic atrocities of the past century, the CIA, in the aftermath of Operation Paperclip, began conducting undisclosed experiments on U.S. citizens that involved psychedelic drug regimens, abuse, and other shocking techniques to break the mind of participants. According to officially declassified MK-Ultra documents that managed to avoid being lost or maybe destroyed, when the house of cards finally came crashing down, we now understand the full scope of the atrocities. Quote, although the CIA insists that MK-Ultra-type experiments have been abandoned, 14-year CIA veteran Victor Marchetti has stated in various interviews that the CIA routinely conducts disinformation campaigns and that CIA mind control research continues. In a 1977 interview, Marchetti specifically called the CIA claim that MK-Ultra was abandoned a cover story, end quote. Now that could be a topic all on its own very easily, but the point here is to demonstrate that the United States government, namely the Central Intelligence Agency, at one point in time at least, had a fixation on the topic of mind control, up to and including the torture of their own citizens in undisclosed experiments. Scary stuff. So how does it connect? Well, having established that there was, at some point, a willingness to conduct undisclosed, immoral, unethical, and illegal experiments on U.S. citizens domestically, it sort of changes how we need to analyze things. For starters, patents can be filed for a number of different reasons, but the primary application or reason to file a patent is to protect a specific invention. Going further, it's not just about protecting what you made, it's about protecting everything possible that's even remotely similar to what you made. Because the world of invention is now a constant battle between individuals, corporate interests, and even entire countries. Basically, the patents we will examine today don't necessarily even do anything, right? I have to state that in cold, point-blank terms, or maybe don't do anything anymore. But they certainly exist with extremely troubling implications in tow. This is the main patent in question, the title of the video, and a common focal point for online conspiracy theories. US 656,148b2. This patent is extremely long, contains a tremendous amount of information, but I'd like to read a couple of individual passages for contextual reasons as well as link it down below in the description. First one, quote, these results confirm that indeed the nervous system of a subject can be manipulated through electromagnetic field pulses emitted by a nearby CRT or LCD monitor, which displays images with pulsed intensity. End quote. Remember, the title of the patent is Nervous System Manipulation by Electromagnetic Fields from Monitors, and pertains directly to the idea that pulsating EM fields from television and monitor screens, regardless of what is actually displayed for the image, can be used to manipulate the nervous system of nearby watchers. One more paragraph. Keep in mind, this is from the patent itself, which was filed by Dr. Hendrikus G. Luce in 2003 for this one. Quote, certain monitors can emit electromagnetic field pulses that excite a sensory resonance in a nearby subject through image pulses that are so weak as to be subliminal. This is unfortunate, since it opens a way for mischievous application of the invention, whereby people are exposed unknowingly to manipulation of their nervous systems for someone else's purposes. Such application would be unethical and is of course not advocated. It is mentioned here in order to alert the public to the possibility of covert abuse that may occur while being online or while watching TV, a video, or a DVD. End quote. Consider for a moment that the patent itself is warning the public that someone else can manipulate them subliminally through their screens. But let's take a step back, because I'm probably losing a whole lot of people right now who will be thinking something along the lines of, is this idiot really going to say that I can get controlled, mind controlled, through a TV? Yes, I'm saying that, but not in the way that most people might think. Turns out, there are actually a multitude of medically relevant patents to draw from that demonstrate the basic premise of EMF nervous system manipulation. There's this one, for example, that pertains to pulsed EM fields for the purpose of treating neurological disorders. There's this one, which uses electromagnetic brain stimulation to manipulate dreaming. And then there's this one, where, quote, an electrical device supplies low-frequency energy in a range below approximately 10 hertz to the patient's brain tissue. End quote. Remember, the original patent we're discussing today, US 6506148B2, pertains to frequencies near 1/2 hertz, or 2.4 hertz. Why am I showing these other examples, even though they are probably very boring and a lot of the information is going to make people tune out? Well, the answer is simple. The world of medical research has already accurately identified that low-frequency pulsating EM fields can manipulate the human nervous system. That's a fact. The only differences are delivery method and strength, I can't sit here and tell you whether or not your screens are secretly modifying your behavior and mental state. I've read the research, done the digging, but I would need literal years to understand a lot of the subject matter. However, what we can do is look at a few more connections. Let's re-examine Hendrikus G. Luce and ask the question, who is he?
For a year, the trustees sought an effective, peaceful method to alter the life of an entire people. But ultimately, they concluded that war was the most effective way to change people. World War I. Horrible. I mean, made every other war look like nothing. They sent a confidential message to President Wilson insisting that the war not be ended too quickly. After the war, the Carnegie Endowment trustees reasoned that if they could get control, here we go, of education in the United States, they would be able to prevent a return to the way of life as it had been prior to the war. And they recruited the Rockefeller Foundation to assist in such a monumental task. Education should aim at destroying free will so that pupils are thus schooled they will be incapable throughout the rest of their lives of thinking or acting otherwise than as their schoolmasters would have wished. Influences of the home are obstructive, and in order to condition students, verses set to music and repeatedly intoned are very effective. It is for a future scientist to make these maxims precise and discover exactly how much it costs per head to make children believe that snow is black. When the technique has been perfected, every government that has been in charge of education for more than one generation will be able to control its subjects securely without the need of armies or policemen. End quote.
There are explicit programs of DARPA to read and write to human brains, whether it's through direct implants within the brain or wearing some kind of cap. So these things are being worked on, and we know that.
So what's the next step? Maybe the next step is we can send instructions and information to an actual person from a distance with this kind of technology to let another person control their actions. But that could be something that could be malicious.
If there's some way to do it from a distance, a much greater distance than something that you can wear on your scalp, that would be the ultimate technological achievement that would fall into this realm of mind control and direct human-machine interface that DARPA may well want to keep secret.
In the near future, DARPA may possess the technology to remotely control the human mind. But as concerning as that may be, according to some scientists, a more permanent kind of mind control technology is looming. And it involves modifying the human brain by altering the human body's DNA.
The future of mind control, and the future being right now because these experiments are being done, is using gene editing tools. And one of them would be CRISPR. The way it works is take the CRISPR, which are these short alternating repeats of DNA. You put that together with an enzyme called Cas. And so you take the CRISPR that you want to use, and you put these pieces together that can be injected and insert this DNA to certain areas of the brain so that we can change brain cells and turn you into something you wouldn't otherwise be. So in this way, gene editing technologies like CRISPR really form a definite basis for future mind control.
These are things that DARPA has investigated. Every technology has the potential for good or evil. And who defines what's good and what's evil, and who uses it for what purpose? These are all questions that have been asked about everything from rockets to self-driving vehicles. We still don't have a good handle on the ethics of various technologies that we use. The technologists tend not to be so concerned with the ethics. That seems to be the domain of other people, policymakers, for example, academics, people like this. There needs to be a hand-in-hand interaction with people creating technology and those who are considering the ethics of that technology.
You're not real. You're not real.
What? You are? Is any of it real? I mean, look at this. Look at it! A world built on fantasy. Synthetic emotions in the form of pills. Psychological warfare in the form of advertising. Mind-altering chemicals in the form of food. Brainwashing seminars in the form of media. Controlled, isolated bubbles in the form of social networks. Real? You want to talk about reality? We haven't lived in anything remotely close to it since the turn of the century. We turned it off, took out the batteries, snacked on a bag of GMOs while we tossed the remnants in the ever-expanding dumpster of the human. We live in branded houses, trademarked by corporations, built on bipolar numbers, jumping up and down on digital displays, hypnotizing us into the biggest slumber mankind has ever seen. You have to dig pretty deep, kiddo, before you can find anything real. We live in a kingdom of bullshit.
One more thing before you guys go. Let me know in the comments, how do you feel about the social conditioning and the manipulation going on in the media and just in the world we live in? Can you explain it to me? Can you not leave me examples, but just like, I want to know about y'all experiences and what have y'all seen, and get a general census out there, you know? But with that being said, I'm out, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.